Away go the first 5 teams, and you can see from this just why they've had to split them into 2 groups of 5. Because for each team there are 2 boats, it's 2 team members per boat, and it's very congested at the start. Look out for Team Jim West. They're a very experienced quartet. They did very well recently at the Neisner event, finishing 2nd when they competed under the name of Axis.com. The paddlers make their way upstream to the first buoy. I mentioned earlier that teams are obliged to have at least 1 female in their outfit. Well, there's an all-women team here, the Kzm Warriors, and we'll look out for them. It's very early days. We don't expect the winning team to cross the finishing line for at least another 3 hours or so. But already Jim West going well. They're at the front, the first around the first buoy. They're a very experienced team of paddlers, and already they've discovered a quick route. And there's our first view of the all-women's team, the Kzm Warriors. Team Jim West there, well onto their 2nd circuit, establishing an early lead. They'll want to get through the transition and out onto the bike ride. That's going to take them out to Umhlanga Rocks. As some of the other teams really struggling, look how far they are spread out over the water. Members there of the Kzm Warriors struggling to get to the end of this section. 10 further sections after this. They're going to be running. They're even going to be going down a kamikaze slide, so there's plenty to look forward to for them. As Team Jim West leave the water, and they're already establishing quite a handsome lead. Team Jim West must now learn where to go. It's not only a demanding physical challenge, it's also a bit of a treasure hunt as well. As the leaders get their instructions about where to go next, 2nd out of the water are Team Margarine Extreme.
The first traffic circle on Umhlanga Rocks Drive, 11.3 kilometers out.
North. Okay.
North. Okay. Take that with you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Margarine Extreme make their way towards Umhlanga Rocks, and they've got a deficit of something like 3 minutes. Here at the 2nd wave of paddlers, and there nearest to the camera, you can see a familiar face. That's Kim Carter, wearing the maroon shorts. One of South Africa's leading triathletes. She's failed to make the Olympic team. She suffered from tick bite fever, which hampered her preparation. But she's here today, and as well as having a thorough physical test, I'm sure she's going to have plenty of fun as well. The 2nd leg of 11, and the first of 2 on the mountain bike. 11.5 kilometers out to Umhlanga Rocks, 11.5 kilometers back. You can make your own way, although, of course, there is a prescribed route, and we catch up here with the leaders. Team Jim West on North Way, making their way through the northern suburbs of Durban. Followed by Margarine Extreme. They've got a fair amount of ground to make up, but sticking well together as a team. Meanwhile, back on the river, the other 5 teams are in action, and if anything, these are the stronger 5. They include Team Rocky and Old Mutual Asset Managers' Massive Attack. The 2nd group of 5 teams started 25 minutes after the first wave, and that difference will be taken into account at the end of the race. So it is possible that the first team across the line today might not necessarily be the winners. But here are the leaders. Jim West going very well. They are starting to spread out just a little bit, though. The rules of the competition say that team members must be within hearing distance of one another, but they'll be aware that when they cross the line at the end, it is the final team member who counts, so they always cross the line together. Here's the 2nd team, Margarine Extreme. And they're followed. A close race here for 3rd and 4th. IQ Sport, you can see there in the front, but just behind them, just hitting the hill, that's Team Extreme. It's a very busy week for Durban. We've got not only the AIDS conference going on, but there you can see the Virginia Air Show happening at the same time as this. There, IQ Sport making their way out to the turning point at Umhlanga. Meanwhile, 25 minutes or so behind, the first team out of the water, Team Take It Easy. And they will get their instructions about the next section of the route. They're told it's 11.5 kilometers. They're also told to go to Umhlanga Road, and they're told to look for a sticker on the back of a road sign, but that is it. So that is almost the treasure hunt element of the event. There's the fire crew, a quartet of varsity students, as Team Rocky leave the transition zone.
Still to come, more action from the Old Mutual Hi-Tec Urban Adventure Challenge.
Margarine Extreme making their way to the turning point. They're in second place among the first wave of 5 teams. Here's Take It Easy, leading the second group, followed by Massive Attack. Some very tough undulating roads on the way to Umhlanga. And here we can see Massive Attack. And right at the back you can see Philip Swanepoel just giving Michel Foucault a bit of a hand up that hill. Swanepoel, a very experienced competitor. He was a member of the Forest Flyers team that went to the Southern Traverse in New Zealand last year. 11.5 kilometres into the cycle route, and this is the turning point in Umhlanga, and this is where the fun starts. The teams have got to look for the sticker, which they've been told is behind the sign. They must then see what it says on it and return to the finishing area to Cara Lee from the race organisers and tell her exactly what it says. IQ Sport make their way to the turning point, and they're already in the right area, aren't they? Just above him there, and they've seen it. Jim West arrive at the end of the cycle into the second transition zone, and ahead of them a 7-kilometre run. Barely 1,500 metres or so into the run is the Kamikaze slide, which is certainly something interesting to watch. And then they make their way to the cable glide and the third transition area. Team Jim West ahead on the road, but they'll be aware that because of that staggered start, they might not actually be in the lead, and that won't unravel itself until the end, of course. IQ Sport have done very well, particularly in the second half of the cycle ride. They've moved into second place on the road, relegating Team Margarine Extreme to third, and they're just suffering a little bit, aren't they? Meanwhile, back at the second transition zone, that's Take It Easy. They're the first to arrive. And here in second, Massive Attack. The first phase of the run is relatively short, less than 10 minutes on the road, I'd suggest. A long Snell parade making their way towards Waterworld and the Kamikaze slide. That comes up in a couple of moments' time. And their IQ Sport doing very well indeed. Take It Easy, leading the second phase. But they're not too far ahead of Massive Attack. Here they come. And as you can see, the female member getting just a little bit of a toe there. IQ approach the entrance to Waterworld, and just ahead of them, getting onto the slide, Team Jim West. Now they have just 2 minutes to get their entire team through the slide, so no time for hesitation. If you do, you have to get to the back of the queue. There's no doubt this is the novelty end of the Adventure Challenge, an opportunity for the competitors to return to their childhood before they hit the roads again. As Team Jim West leave in the lead, Team Margarine Extreme arrive just to take their slide. You might be asking why the organisers have put this in the middle of the course. Well, they're trying to encourage plenty of novices to come here. It is a demanding physical activity, but this provides an opportunity not only to recuperate, but also to cool down after some demanding cycling and running. And also more to come. There's no time to ask questions here. Very mindful there of the 2-minute limit. Teams coming in thick and fast now. This is Team Rocky.
Yeah.
Take a card. Card up here. No, Billy, just bring your card.
Approaching the end of the 7-kilometre run, and here's Team Jim West picking up an extra team member. Just ahead of them, of course, the cable glide. They're Team Margarine Extreme, looking a little bit better than they were the last time we saw them.
I think we attract all sorts of athletes. As I said, we're trying to attract as many novices as possible because people are still very ignorant about adventure racing. So we want to put, you know, we want to make people more aware of what adventure racing is all about. So a small event, which the Urban Adventure is, it's only 50 kilometers. It's just giving those people a little taste of what the big events are all about. So we're wanting people to come out and do the 180Ks, 250Ks, and then later the 500Ks. So, you know, 50Ks is really not a very daunting experience. It's just to go out there and have fun and get the feel of the event. Well, when we came to do the Scouts in February, we actually stumbled across the cable glide, and we decided that would be a really fun event. So we decided to take out the abseil section and then threw in the other one from Waterworld. And both companies corresponded, well, they helped us a great deal. and I think it's also put them on the map for future races.
Take It Easy making their way towards the cable glide, but still ahead of these athletes, another mountain bike ride and also the orienteering section. Team Margarine Extreme. The cable glide at Vetch's Pier, I suppose you could describe it as a second novelty or fun element to the Adventure Challenge. The safety harness means that they don't actually even have to hang on. But ahead of them, a very tiring cycle ride indeed. And here you can see Team Margarine Extreme leaving on their second cycle of the day. But of some comfort to them will be the fact that they know they're into the second half of the event, though they do have a tough orienteering section and a stair climb to come. As Cara Lee was explaining, there is a hope that it's elements like this that will see the event expand. Just 40 or so athletes competing today, of course, in the 10 teams. But there is a hope that in the future, it's going to grow and grow.
How was that?
Hey, that was brilliant, man. I want to do it again.
Up next, more action from the Old Mutual Hi-Tec Urban Adventure Challenge. And Bobby McGee chats to Artur.
The fourth leg in the 10-kilometre cycle. It's a short ride to Thirsty's pub where there is a passport control. And, of course, those passports which the teams carry, absolutely vital. You lose those on the way, and that might cost you victory.
Thank you very much.
And here we can see Team Margarine Extreme. They need the maps as well to find their way through to Berea Park where the cycle comes to an end. And they actually have to provide those maps themselves. And there you can see them getting caught in the craft market. And that's Team Extreme checking in at the passport control at Thirsty's.
Berea Park first.
Okay, well, that's your instructions.
Thank you. There is my spray.
The maps really playing their part here. It's only a 10-kilometre ride to Berea Park, but there are any number of routes of how to get there. And you can see there's a fair degree of confusion on the part of some of the team members. Meanwhile, ahead at Berea Park, Team Margarine Extreme arrive, and ahead of them, the stair climb. That's Take It Easy arriving, but already through this checkpoint, Team Kzm West, they're opening up an even bigger lead. They're up on the stair climb already. Here it is, the fifth leg. Very, very tough indeed. And after this, of course, we've got the orienteering section. So in many respects, the most demanding physical section of the race. Team Extreme arrive at the top of the flight of stairs. 6 flights of stairs, in fact. Each member must arrive on the top step, and each team must have their passport punched before they can go back down again. Here's Team Rocky, close behind them, although they do seem to be a little spread out, don't they? Next up, we can see the fire crew. And with a name like that, they should be good in running up flights of stairs, shouldn't they? But they seem to be struggling just a little bit. And when they get down to the bottom of the stairs, as you can see here, Team Extreme have done so. It's now just an easy run towards the orienteering section. But that's going to be very tough indeed. There's IQ Sports still going well. Ahead of them, and here you see Kzm West in Mitchell Park. And they're the most vital bit of equipment of all, the compass. And this will help them find various points throughout the park before they can embark on the final run towards the finish line. Team Kzm West out in front as they have been throughout the day. They've been on their feet now for almost 3 hours.
This way. White building. Gotcha. Here's a more. Hey? Up there. 300 degrees. Yeah.
Massive attack moving into the park. They're going very well indeed. Some way behind Take It Easy, who at the moment it would seem are ahead on the road, even though Kzm West look as if they're going to be the first team across the finishing line. Desperately trying to find these points in the park, and this can cost them so much time if they get it wrong. So Massive Attack still making their way around the park. And here are the Tri-Geeks. We haven't seen them for a while with Kim Carter. Meanwhile, up in front, Team Kzm West are approaching the finishing line. looking very happy with themselves, but I think they're going to find that Take It Easy are going to beat them in the overall standings.
We entered it as total novices, and we put together a team, and we decided we'd just take it as it comes, take it easy, just get through everything, do the basics, do it as best we can, and that's the way it worked. We just put it together, we all got on extremely well together, and it all worked out, and the results speak for themselves.
It's a very close run thing for second. Massive Attack crossing the line. And here are Rocky. So let's take a look at the result. Take It Easy are the winners, 3 hours and 17 minutes. 10 minutes ahead of 3 teams in joint second place. Oman Massive Attack, Jim West and Rocky.